Hi friends, welcome back to Black Coffee and Grits. I'm Lisa. It's been 6 weeks. Did you miss me? I missed you. I have been traveling. It's been a very busy spring and I'm excited to be back and share with you what I've stitched on, cross stitch wise in the month of April, and also what I've been up to just since the first 2 weeks of May. So buckle up. Are you ready? I'm not sure I am really, to be honest with you. We got back home Monday from a 3-week long trip to London and South Africa. And so I think I don't really feel too super jet lagged, but I just feel a little bit like I'm not back to my routine just yet. So I think it'll just take some time. Probably getting all the suitcases unpacked would help. Do you guys wait to unpack your suitcases until how long? How long can you get away with it? Or are you just like super amazing and you just put it all away right away? It depends. I try to put it all away, but that was a long journey. I will say that we traveled, let's see, we left South Africa on Saturday and didn't get home. We left South Africa. Wait a second. When did we leave South Africa? I can't remember now. Saturday night, I think at 9 p.m. Arrived the next morning in London, and then had a few hours layover, and then we traveled back to Texas. It was nice to have my feet planted firmly on the ground in the Texas soil again on Mother's Day, which was Sunday. And my mom was so sweet to house sit for us while we were gone and pick us up and take care of us and make sure we had some groceries. My goodness, it was an amazing trip. Incredible. Absolutely incredible trip. Trip of a lifetime. We've been planning this for about a year. My husband bought a safari package for 4 on May 1st, which was our anniversary last year. And so we spent our 15-year anniversary in South Africa on this amazing safari. Our son Will and my husband's friend Tim came along with us. I really didn't know what to expect, but I knew it would be incredible. And it's just really almost like pictures and words are not enough. Like, you just need to be there to see it with your own 2 eyes. And I really did try to take it all in and spend as much time just out in nature as we could, seeing all the incredible wildlife. That was a big part of the trip for us. And it was just an incredible experience. Really, really fun. We tacked on London to the beginning of the trip, mainly just because that we needed I think through American Airlines, we had to go through London. So we decided to spend a few days there as well. So we spent a few days in the city, and Will got to see some of the, we saw some of the city and some of the incredible culture, the museums, and the history. We did a Churchill War rooms tour, which was really fun. I think we all enjoyed that. And oh my gosh, it's just been amazing in a whirlwind. I'll pop in some pictures at the end so you can see some of the incredible sights, some of the sunsets, and oh my gosh, it was an incredible experience. And I'm sitting here, since it's been 6 weeks, trying to figure out what I've been stitching on since then, what I FFO'd, what I've been up to aside from that, because that was a big chunk of the last 6 weeks. It was half of it. But we've also, started off our spring and spent some time with family, my dad, and we got a small package of Rangers game tickets, so we've been going to some baseball games, and yeah, just all that. Spring flowers have popped up. Had some beautiful irises. I'll pop in a picture of those that bloomed for me right before we came, so I was so excited to see those. Had some more flowers blooming since then, but we're gonna get all the way up to, I think, 100 degrees today. And I'm not ready for that because it was fall in South Africa and the weather was incredible. It never got too hot. There were some really cool kind of brisk days, which surprised me a little bit, but it was just perfect. Couldn't have asked for better weather or a better trip. We really had a good time. So I'll start off with my FFOs because even though I didn't do them, I took some pieces to the peanut gallery with my friend Michelle. We went up to the peanut gallery, I guess it must have been the first part of April, or maybe we dropped those off in March and then we picked them up the first part of April. I'm not sure, but I got 2 pieces framed, one of which is sitting here behind me. I still have all my spring decor out because I really haven't transitioned to summer just yet. I know a lot of people for May start decorating for like Memorial Day and sort of like more of the patriotic vibe. That has not happened here. I haven't even unpacked that suitcase yet, so fully. I unpacked some of it, but not all of it, so in a few days I'll get caught up. But for now, I still have spring out, and I'm not tired of looking at it because I wasn't here for 3 weeks, so this is a piece that I got framed at the Peanut Gallery that I thought turned out super cute. It is Welcome Spring by Teresa Kogut. I stitched this sometime last year, I think. It's a really fun little pattern. It actually, I think the bunny was supposed to be all filled in, but I opted not to fill it in so that you could see that cute little buffalo check fabric that I stitched it on. And please forgive me, I do not have details on that fabric, but if you're interested, ask me and I could probably try and go look it up. But that has been a hot minute since I stitched that, and I do know I picked it up at Stitch Niche, but I couldn't tell you who the dyer is or anything about it other than that. I think it is a 32 count linen. Pretty sure. Love the colors on this though. Super cute. And the frame is kind of a purpley hue, and it really just kind of matched the colors that were in the border perfectly. So simple and adorable, and they did an amazing job. And I actually did not put glass on this one. I decided to just kind of on a piece by piece basis, especially if it's just a seasonal piece, maybe not to do glass because it's not getting as much exposure to dust. And I say that, and I didn't end up putting glass on this one either. This is Farm Fresh. That is a Little House Needleworks pattern. I'm pretty sure. Is this Little House Needleworks or Country Cottage Needleworks? Please don't be mad. Those are very interchangeable for me. They're very similar. So I get them mixed up in my head, but I stitched this more than a year ago as well. This is my second time stitching this pattern. I stitched it once for my mom, decided I needed it for myself as well. Actually, I think my husband might have picked this one out, so needed to stitch it for him. So Farm Fresh, like I said, I stitched it for myself and also for my mom. I did change the awning color on Mom's. I think I used the call for, which was like a green. In fact, I think I pulled like all my own colors for this, just like from stash, but pretty close to what was called for in the pattern. But I decided on this awning that I was going to use that barn red. I think that's a Classic Colorworks color instead of the green. And it needed a barn red frame, don't you think? Turned out so cute. So stitched it on, I think this is just a 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. And I decided that I'm gonna hang these here at my buffet, like on each side of my buffet. Let me see if I can turn the camera. Oh, maybe not. Can't do this. Okay. So I have some feed sack prints over here on each side of my buffet. And I decided that I'm going to hang this under one of those, and then I'm gonna stitch the Old Red Barn. I'll pop in a picture of the pattern because I don't have it. I have it in stash, but I don't have it out here currently. And I think that that will look really great, sort of as like a pair. I'm gonna frame it up in the same red frame. So they'll be flanking each other. Super cute. So as for starts, in the last 6 weeks, I've only have one. I know that may come as a complete shock to you, considering last month I started 8 items, or back in, I shouldn't say last month, it's May now, but back in March, was that March? Yeah. I started 8 projects, and I did have some other things planned to start. I just ended up postponing because, you know, getting ready for the big trip was just a lot. So there were a few things that I had planned to start that I just postponed. So I'll do those maybe later this month or maybe next year. But the one thing I did start, and I know you won't be surprised by this, is I'll just pop in a picture of this pattern because it's a PDF pattern that I purchased from Etsy. It's called African Safari. It's by Cross Stitch World UA. So I found this on Etsy and I kitted it up with all the called for DMCs. It's a beautiful color palette, absolutely beautiful, like all these bright colors. And as you saw from the picture, it's an ombre pattern, so it goes from these beautiful yellows down to the oranges, reds, and all the way down to the deep, deep purple. I decided to stitch this on a piece of Bramble by Picture This Plus. This is a 32 count linen, so I'm stitching it 2 over 2. And this is the progress that I got done. And I will say I did not stitch every day. There were a lot of days that were filled with activities from sunup to sundown, and I also did not stitch on the plane like I thought I would. There were a lot of turbulence on the way there. So, and then they were also just some really, really long flights. So we needed to try and focus on sleeping, and I just didn't want to drag out all the things. So, but I did start this before I left, and I got, like, I don't know, not very much accomplished at all. And then while we were there, there were a few days that I didn't go out with the guys on some of the activities that they were doing. So I stayed back in the lodge and did get some stitchy time in. So let's see. I was gonna tell you because this is the first time I'm using Pattern Keeper and I'm really enjoying it. I bought this tablet before I left. It's just an Amazon Fire tablet. It was economical, not expensive, and I'm really enjoying it. I didn't know how I would feel about stitching with a PDF pattern in this sort of format. I thought maybe, I don't know, it just seemed like it might be cumbersome, but I really am enjoying it. So it keeps up with the stitch count that you do each day, which was interesting, and it looks like I am about 23% complete on this. So there's still a long way to go. But each time I got to like color complete a section, I was excited to know that, and get the elephant and the giraffe and the trees and the zebras, and I got to see all these things in real life. And one of the most memorable parts of Africa, I would say, were the sunsets and the color, and everything was just so beautiful. And it amazed me how a creature as large as an elephant or a giraffe could literally be hiding in plain sight. Like all of a sudden, they would just come out of the trees and you're like, whoa, I did not hear you or see you coming until they were like right on you. So I'm going to enjoy finishing stitching this and remembering all the fun that we had in Africa. So I'll probably have to arm wrestle my son for, he's already said, I want that in my room, for where we end up putting the Africa piece. Okay, so that was the only start I had, and I only ended up taking 2 projects on the trip. I was just really trying to, you know, not pack too much, travel light, all that kind of thing. So in addition to the Africa piece, I brought this piece called Blackbird Sampler. Blackbird Sampler is a pattern, I'll pop in a picture of it, by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. And I'm stitching this on a piece of mystery overdyed 28 count linen with just one floss which is black coffee from Classic Colorworks. And the reason why I decided to bring this is just because it was monochromatic and it was big, so I didn't need to bring like a light, or, you know, I don't need readers to stitch on this, so I just thought it would be a good one. And I didn't get it out as much as I thought I would, but one day at the London airport while we were waiting, and I think maybe one day in the room for a little bit, I stitched and I got this motif completed. The urn with the flowers, and I think some of the other this little guy. So I might have worked on the border just a tad as well. But that one's coming along, and this has been a very enjoyable stitch. It's going to be part of my black sampler wall. So, okay, what else did I get into? I will show you Peacekeeper next. So Peacekeeper was my Lent stitch, if you remember. And so I started this on that Tuesday, and I stitched it through Easter Sunday, and so I ended up stitching 46 days on this piece. And this is I'll pop in a picture as well. This is Peacekeeper. Is this Peacekeeper? Peacemaker. I've written it so many times, you would think I'd know. Peacemaker by Teresa Kogut. It also has a subtitle of Work of Heart. And it has been really incredible. Look at her. Oh my gosh. I did need a break from this because it is very tedious, a very tedious confetti style of stitching. But I am just amazed at how realistic her face looks. All the shading that has gone into this, it's been really fun to see it come to life. So I'm very excited to continue on with this. I did, however, after talking, Michelle and I had a consult, and let me see if I can find the bag that this goes in. So these are all the DMCs that go into this pattern. It is a lot. But Michelle and I were talking, I actually have the pattern right here, so I'll get it out so I can make sense of what I'm saying. Michelle and I were talking about how many colors were in the shirt as well as the wings, and how I could maybe move away from so much confetti stitching in those areas by choosing maybe a variegated floss for the shirt. So I haven't found that just yet, but in my box from Black Needle Society, I got this floss. Let me see what this is called. Rainfall, hand dyed by Rolinda. Is it Rolinda? Rolanda, sorry. And I think this will be really perfect for her wings. It has a lot of the same colors as the confetti in it, you know, without having to do all that confetti stitching. So I'm gonna try a bit of it and see how I like it. And maybe look for a variegated floss to do the shirt with so that I don't have to do so much confetti stitching, because it looks amazing on her face, but I'm tired. I'm tired of the confetti. Oh, and I kind of hate saying that because it does look so amazing, but I'm gonna give it a try. If I feel like it's a compromise and doesn't look as good as it should, then I'll tough it out. How does that sound? Okay, what else did I get up to? I stitched on one of my spring whips from last year, which is Dorothys Discovery by Silvercreek Samplers. I'm popping in a picture of the pattern. This piece, I started, I think last year. I started on St. Patrick's Day, and I started on St. Patrick's Day because it has the rainbow in it and it just felt springy. And So I ended up picking this up. I'm stitching it on a piece of 16 count cream and sugar Aida. So I'm stitching 2 strands of floss over 1, 2 over 1. And I know I got to a stopping point, and now I need to decide, do I want to keep going with this, or am I happy with it just as it is? It's a super cute pattern, and I do love the saying. So the saying is, the power is there whenever you choose. It's found in the heart, not in your shoes. And I do love the saying. So I got to this point and I stopped because I thought, this is really cute too, and I feel like it stands alone. But doesn't include the Emerald City. So what do you all think? Should I keep it as more of like a small, or should I go ahead and keep going and put those words in? I do love the saying. I just also thought it was a really cute composition. Is that the right word? Just as it stood. So I didn't tell you I was stitching that with all the called for flosses, but I am. And did you notice that she has the sparkly shoes? So you use a rainbow treasure braid to get that sparkle in the shoes. And this was a super fun stitch, and it went really fast. I really enjoyed stitching that plaid. And the dog is super cute, Toto. I watched The Wizard of Oz while I stitched it. I just finished reading Wicked, and are you going to Granny's?
Yeah.
Okay. As you know, I just finished reading Wicked and watching the movie. So I watched The Wizard of Oz and really had a fun time watching that. I don't remember what was going on that day. I don't know if my husband was out of town or if I just watched it by myself, but I enjoyed it. Let's see. The other thing I stitched on from last year that I pulled out, which was another one of my spring whips, is Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird. And this piece I'm stitching on 32 count Picture This Plus Vellum linen. And I'm using the called for flosses, which are, I think, mostly Weeks Dye Works. I feel like maybe it's a mix of flosses. They're really pretty. There are some Gentle Arts, some Weeks Dye Works, and looks like one Classic Color Works. It's a really pretty color scheme. So I got one more flower in and 2 little birds. So this right here. And this is a fun stitch. I think my favorite part about it is the bird. So it'll be with me a while longer. I feel like I should be putting things away as I go. That mess over there is haunting me. I'm not good with messes. Okay. The next thing I stitched on while I was watching some baseball is the Forbidden Fiber Co. The Sandlot is the pattern, and I got another motif complete. I guess you could call it a motif. This kid is an L7 weenie. That movie is so funny, and of course you know how much I love baseball, so it's just been enjoyable, and I just pick this up sometimes whenever I'm watching baseball in the evening. I think that maybe was just one day, maybe a day and a half of stitching. Okay, so the other things that I stitched on were my BAPs, and I'll just go on to confession and tell you that I got midway through April, as we crept closer and closer to the trip, I really wanted to record a Flosstube, but it was just unrealistic. I had, so many things to think about as far as getting the house ready for someone to come and house it, and things for the dogs, and all of our laundry, and you know, all the things. So everything that goes with packing for a 3-week trip, and just thinking through the logistics of everything. So obviously I ran out of time. I did not record a Flosstube, and I also fell behind on my BAPs because I was traveling and I didn't want to bring so many things with me. So I think I only ended up getting in one day on pandemic since I've seen you last. Yeah, that's true. And one day on Hawk Run, but I think I've gotten 3 days in on Hello Halloween. So I did, when I realized I was running out of time, I tried to get in, or when I realized I was only going to take 2 projects, I tried to squeeze in a little bit of time on the BAPs, but again, I quickly started to run out of time, and obviously packing was a bigger priority than stitching. So let me show you Hello Halloween first because it's on top. Hello Halloween, let me pop in a picture of the pattern. This is a Teresa Kogut book. This is the large sampler. I believe it's called Halloween Sampler. I am stitching mine on 20 count properly primitive Aida by Under the Sea Fabrics. I fell in love with this fabric. It was really kind of what made me turn around and go grab the book because I thought it was perfect for the sampler. And I'm stitching it with all the called for Weeks Dye Works and DMC flosses. So this is on Aida, so it's 1/1, 20 count Aida. So 1/1, not the usual for me. And I have slept since I stitched on this, so I don't remember what on earth I did, except I do remember Michelle said, you should stitch that tree. And so I stitched the tree, and I started working on the fence and the gate, and I stitched some of the bats. I definitely know I did that. I'll go to confession and tell you that whenever I stitched the border for this, it did not meet up initially. So I fudged it somewhere, and I think that decision to fudge it has finally caught up with me down here at the bottom on this fence because it's 1 stitch off. So I'm trying to decide if it bothers me, and I really don't think it does enough to fix it. So I'm just gonna keep going and fudge it. So right down here, there's 1 extra space between the bottom of the fence and the last rung. So, whoops, sorry about that. Banged my elbow on the table there. So yeah, there's 1 extra space there. And like I said, I'm just trying not to let it bother me. And keep going. The other BAP that I stitched on, that I'm stitching, is Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. And like I said, I think I only got 1 day in on this. I'm stitching mine on a piece of Mystery Overdyed Aida. It's also 20 count, so 1/1 on this piece as well. The DMC that I chose is DMC number 29, which is this pretty purpley eggplant. Back in March, I completed a page finish. So this part I know was all finished, and then let me see if I can pull this out. It's easier to hold. I started working on this section here, I think. So this is a beautiful project, and I consider it my leap day start. So I'm loosely trying to finish that for the next leap day. So I've been putting 2 days a month in on these BAPs. And my last BAP is the Farms at Hawk Run Hollow. I know I've been saying that wrong. I've been saying of Hawthorne Hollow? No, I've been saying at, and it is of. I knew it was wrong, so I was going to look again, the pattern. So, progress on this guy since I last saw you was mostly on the Saturday, it's only on the Saturday dance square block. And I got those 2 musicians in and finished. But I still have a ways to go. I still have some more musicians to put in. So I think I'm just gonna keep focusing on that block and try to get that block finished. I got all of the blocks outlined earlier this year, and I thought I might start skipping around a little bit, but with just stitching it 2 days a month, it just seems to make sense to just keep focusing on that one block. Although I really am antsy to stitch on the big block in the middle, the auction block, because of all the animals in it. So I'll tell myself you can go to that block next after you finish the Saturday dance. What do y'all think? Okay. Bags galore floating all over the table. Let me see if I can clear my mess. Look at my notes and my calendar and tell you a little bit more about, so remember last month I could not find my haul to save my life, so I'm popping in a video of my haul from the Tinsmiths Wife in Comfort, Texas. Look what I found. Okay, I feel like an idiot. I thought I left this bag at Michelle's house from the Tinsmiths Wife, and it was totally at my own house, hiding from me in plain sight. I left it upstairs. I was looking everywhere. I literally looked in my car like 4 times. I called Michelle and I was like, can you check your dining table? I thought I left it like in the dining chair and I had, you know, tucked it up under the table. And so I was starting to panic. And then I walked upstairs to go to bed and there it was. Sitting on, I have a little dresser up on the landing that has all kinds of cross-stitch stuff. So I had taken out what I wanted to kit up and left the rest there. So I have patterns to show you. And I know I inserted a little like slideshow of the patterns, but I left some out. I had more than that. And I have fabric to show. And I think it's much more fun to show them and talk about them than just to throw in a slideshow. So sorry about that. Now we can see all the goodness, the goodies, all the goodies. So I must have been in a fall festive mood. I'm always kind of in a fall festive mood. That's my favorite season for sure. But I picked up a lot of fall patterns, including Witch Witch from Lottie Daw. I had to have this. I love this. Every time I see it, I think it's so amazing. I love her hair. I love her dress. It's a black sampler situation. So yeah, add to cart. It came home with me. And I'll probably, I don't know what the called for floss is on that, but I'll probably stitch that in black coffee. I picked up this one. How stinging cute is this turkey? This is Thanksgiving holiday hoopla from Country Stitches with Thy Needle and Thread. So they had the sample, a model of this hanging on the wall. And I was like, that's so cute. And Michelle was like, the patterns are right there. So I grabbed this, because I needed it, right? Love a good turkey. I was very much in a artsy housewives mood. I actually, sometimes what I do is I make a list of things that I'm like digging on, and then when I go to a shop in person, I pick those items up and I try to like shop from that list a little bit. So some artsy housewife patterns came home with me, including a bevy of festive beetles. Love this. It's so funky and quirky. I just loved it. And then Una Owl, or is it Ona Owl? I'm not sure. But at either rate, I have this cute little owl. And again, these very much, aside from the bugs, feel fall, but that's okay. They can sit and stash until fall. Byron Blackbird. And I have loved this from the moment I saw it. I remember the first time I saw it was in Boston at Stitch New England in the little shop they had set up there. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. So it was time for it to come home with me. Okay, and then 2 Carriage House samplings patterns, including this one, Pig Feed Sack. And I'll tell you what, I've had my eye on this for some time, but when I saw the fabric in the shop, I was like, oh yeah, going for the pattern, because sometimes the model just like ties it all together. It's just so cute on that check fabric. So I love a good farm animal, as you know. Additionally, this big old honker, Black Horse Inn. I almost said house because it does have a very large house. Black Horse Inn. Look at all the cute little horses in the yard. I love this so much. I love all the colors in it. I love the clouds and the way the sun's peeking out. It's fantastic. So, not sure when I'll start that, but it's here for when I'm ready. Okay, a tiny bit of unpackaging because I want you to see fabrics out of the bags. Okay, also I picked up some black coffee and grits because when I'm in a shop, I usually do just grab some because I use it so much. And I was starting that black sampler, so I definitely needed some. So Classic Colorworks black coffee and Weeks Dye Works grits for the stash. And then, like I showed you a few minutes ago, this Weeks Dye Works piece of 28 count linen. This says light khaki, natural gingham. Isn't that cute? I just love it. I got just a fat 1/8. Also, when I was digging in this fun little armoire cabinet, I found this piece of Picture This Plus Heritage, and it just has like almost like an appley green feel. So I feel like it would be good for some Halloween. It's kind of what I was planning for it. This one's 32 count. And then they had some Dames of the Needle. So I picked up 2 pieces of Dames of the Needle linen, both 32 count. This one is the color Cow Fodder. It's a little bit more gold. And this one is Mad Hatter's Tea Towel, and it obviously has a lot more modeling in it, so it goes from light to dark, but I wanted you to see these kind of side by side so you could see they're both obviously neutrals, but one of them definitely is darker and more gold toned, the Cow Fodder. Great pieces for stash. And you don't know how happy I was to have located my bag. I was like, okay, I can rest now. Okay, so that was it from the Tinsmiths Wife, aside from the pieces that I already showed in the last episode where I had starts. So remember, I got that piece of lovely opal from Picture This Plus and the M Satter Wave pattern, which I immediately started with Brooke and Michelle. And then what else? I feel like there was another, maybe not, maybe it was just that. Who knows? Anyways. I really was obviously traveling for 3 weeks, so I didn't do a lot of shopping in the month of April. But May is here, and Michelle called me when I got back, and she said, hey, did you see the news about the Stitch Niche? And I was like, no, what's going on? And she said, well, they've decided to close up the shop. They're going to retire. So they're doing a, you know, like a retirement sale. So we decided to go over yesterday. And so I have some haul to show you from the Stitch Niche. And it was really fun. We had a great day yesterday. We spent the whole day together, had lunch together, went to Starbucks and had coffee. We had to catch up about all the things. So what I ended up getting from the Stitch Niche was, I think, mostly fabrics. So I got a piece of, and everything is 30% off currently, and I'm sure if you're local, you definitely should go check it out. There's a lot of great stuff still in the shop, and they have reorganized it and kind of condensed things, so it was very shoppable, and Michelle and I both brought home a treasure trove of things. So the first piece of fabric is Cocoa from Fiber on a Whim. It is a 32 count linen. I just thought this was a pretty piece of fabric that needed to come home with me. I also got a piece of Cypress from Fiber on a Whim. This is also 32 count linen. And I do have a piece of this already, but I have a project plan for it, and I just thought, I just really like the color of it. So I thought, well, this will be another good piece to add to stash. Looks like this is a mystery linen. It doesn't say who the dyer is, but it's a 32 count fat quarter. I really love the color of this. And almost immediately, Michelle and I were finding things to stitch on this. So I should have written those down, Michelle. Michelle also was stitching on some of this slate fabric from Fabrics by Stephanie. So I picked up a piece of this as well. It's really great black with a lot of modeling in it. This is also a 32 count linen. That's kind of my sweet spot, so that's really where I stayed yesterday. I decided I wanted to kit up, oh goodness, hold please. I decided I wanted to kit up the Black Horse Inn project from Kathy Barrick, Carriage House Samplings, in NPIs. So I picked up some, they didn't have all of them, unfortunately, but I decided to pick up some of the NPI silks for that. So I'm actually going to put these with the project. And they had some of the Mill Hill buttons. So I ended up picking up these for the Native American Mill Hill piece that I'm stitching. So I think I got like one of every pumpkin. I love pumpkins, so whichever ones don't end up working, I'll use them for something else. Hi, Bingo. Let me tell you who missed me while I was gone. These dogs. You want to come say hi? Mr. Bingo. He missed me so much. He did. Yes, he did. I know. I love you too. We'll see if he can just sit with me for a few minutes. We'll see how long that lasts. Also, we picked up a couple of patterns. I picked up a H2EE by Kathy Barrick. This is going to be on the black sampler wall. This was a piece that was already like pinned in my bonnet as one of the pieces I wanted to stitch for that at some point. And then I have been admiring everyone stitching Winter Moth, White Winter Moth by Kathy Barrick. So no plans start for either one of those, but I thought they were good pieces for stash. And then they had lots of models that were available for purchase. And I picked up this one. I think it's so cute. It's finished in a little tray here with some beautiful orange rickrack. And I'm not sure what pattern this is. I should have asked them that. So I don't know. I apologize for that, but it says Rest Thy Scissors and just beautiful fall colors. So you know how much I love fall. Perfect place to sit my domos. Let me tell you what I did not take on my trip that I missed. My scissors. But I'm also very glad that I didn't take them, because while flying with American Airlines and British Airways, it was totally fine to have scissors that were under 2 inches or whatever, the blades. When I got to South Africa to get on the flight back to London, they did not want me to take my scissors on the airplane. So I ended up having to ditch my scissors. So I was very glad that I traveled with cheap scissors. I think my husband almost came unglued and had a heart attack when I said, they said, well, you can take them back, you know, to your bag and check them. And I was like, don't worry about it. Just toss them. And he was like, what? Because he was thinking they were my Dobos. And I was like, no, I would never travel with those. They were just cheap, you know, $4 scissors, and it wasn't worth messing with. So, but it was pretty funny that he was protective over the scissors. What else? Showed you all my haul from the Stitch Niche. That's pretty much all of the shopping that I did. Plans. So I did not end up starting my anniversary start because I was just trying to travel lightly, and I ran out of time before we left for the trip. So I was on the fence and debating about whether I wanted to stitch Forever Love by Silvercreek Samplers, or if I wanted to stitch Love Never Fails by Barbara Anna Designs. And I think I've decided this is the one. I want to stitch this. This was the verse that was read at our wedding, and I just love everything about this. So I've got, like, last month I showed you I got all of the DMCs, so I just need to pick a fabric, and I think I might start this today. I know, or tomorrow. I know it's not our anniversary anymore, but for the whole year, it's our 15-year anniversary, right? I guess, I don't know. Feels like we should celebrate it. And the other thing that I haven't yet started, but I am planning to start, did I get that out as well? I thought I did. My goodness. I got some things out, and then I ended up trying to clear the table off and put them back. Pollinator's Garden by October House. So I still want to stitch this, and if you'll remember from my spring kit parade, I showed this with the colors that I picked and the fabric that I picked. So definitely brightening this one up. So I may start this on my birthday. I think this is going to be my birthday start. So some really pretty flosses, and just love all those colors. And I love this fiber on a whim fabric called Golden Hour. And oh my gosh, did we see some golden hours while we were in Africa? The most beautiful time of day. Those sunsets, I'm telling you. Okay, so fun things coming up. My friend Michelle is celebrating her birthday tomorrow, so we're gonna have another fun little meetup twice in 1 week. I feel so lucky. We're going to Starbucks for a little sit and stitch and coffee date. So we're gonna do that tomorrow. And then week after, I'm meeting up with a lot of friends for a fun little local retreat. So can't wait for that, Friend Stitch. And I do have a plan to start for that. It is, I don't know if I have it here. I'll pop in a picture. Bolt penny cushion, I already stitched, but the other one, farm penny cushion. Farm penny cushion, how cute, by Heartstring Sampler. I'm gonna stitch that with Brooke. She she was so sweet and kitted those up and bought that for me whenever we had our first retreat together. So this will be was that our first retreat? That was our second retreat together. I've lost count of our retreats, and that's totally great. That's a great problem to have. Too many retreats to count. A problem that I'll gladly sign up for. Okay, things that I've been reading. Because I didn't stitch a lot, I did read a bit more. So I finished The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and I really enjoyed this book. It was really fun. Parts of it, of course, were sad, but just her journey and her attitude and her perspective really did, you know, a 180 or a 360. And so it was really, it was a really uplifting book in that regard. And it showed you that, or it was sort of had like this, you know, way of looking at life, like things that you did or didn't do, like things that you might think were a regret, maybe that wouldn't have turned out the way that you thought it would be, you know? And so it was just really good life lessons as far as looking at perspective and seeing life experiences for what they are, and whether good or bad, you can definitely gain perspective and just, I don't know, they mold you, they change you. Those life experiences, whether good or bad, they mold and shape you. So it was a great book. The other book that I picked up and read mostly on the trip, I ended up finishing it before my plane ride because I couldn't put it down. You know how it is when you get to that point in a book where you're just like, yep, I'm finishing this today. Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. And this book is about mostly an octopus on the West Coast, Pacific Coast. This is set in Washington, and it was one of those stories that kind of came together where it brought, you know, multiple characters together and kind of tied it all up in a neat bow. As far as at first you don't know, like, how are these people related? And then it was just a really great story. I really enjoyed it. It had a lot of facts about octopuses and it told part of the story from the perspective of the octopus, which I never would have really thought about necessarily. But it was fascinating, especially being in Africa and learning all these things about, you know, animals, how they live and how they think and how they just all of it, and the fact that they, you know, their lifespan. I just didn't know all these things. So I highly recommend Remarkably Bright Creatures as well. Then the other book that I started on the way home, I think I was feeling a tiny bit homesick, you know, toward the end of a long trip. You're kind of like, it's always good to go, but it's always good to get back home. So I started All the Pretty Horses by Cormac McCarthy. I'll pop in a picture of the book. I've, of course, watched this movie. It is just, it's a really fun Western, and the language is just so native, and it's home, you know, Texas is home. So the story about these characters and their journey and their adventure, because they were very adventurous as well, really just struck a chord with me too, and it's been fun. And I can just picture the characters from the movie, of course, like while I'm reading the book, but that's a fun thing too. So I'm enjoying All the Pretty Horses. Let's see, I told you about my plans. I think I told you all the things. Because it is mid-May, I am thinking a bit about summer. If I can get my act together, I will put together a special episode of summer projects, like what have I been calling those? it's not a whip braid, a kit braid. There we go. A summer kit braid of things that I'm planning to stitch this summer. I feel like I need to, I'll also go through my summer whips, which I haven't looked at just yet. I usually take a minute to kind of write down all those like whips that I have that are seasonal. Oh, actually I did already write them down. So from last year, I have Red, White, and Bantam from Stitching with the Housewives to finish. American Flag Quilt Sampler. Oh my gosh, that is a BAP that needs some serious attention. I also have a State Fair piece from Little House Needleworks that's in the works. And then I have Color Blocks Mickey, which is a Disney piece. And I'll be honest, I don't really feel super motivated to stitch on that right now, but I probably will pick up Red, White, and Bantam and get that finished. And put some time in on the American Flag Quilt Sampler. Between now and then, we still have a few more weeks. So my plans are to start the anniversary start and the birthday start and the friends stitch, and that's probably a lot. The other spring whip that I probably will go back to is God is Good, because I was enjoying stitching that, and it also has a patriotic feel to it as well. So I feel like that's one that could kind of go ahead and travel into summer and keep stitching on it. Yeah, but I will get back to you with a kit parade as soon as I can get my act together and kit up these summer projects. And I will be back at the end of the month, at the end of May, to get back on schedule. So you'll see me again in 2 weeks. And I'm sure I'll have lots to tell you about and probably some haul to show you, because I will be going to a retreat with friends. So that's something to look forward to. As always, if you would like to message me or ask me any questions, please do. Please feel free to leave a comment, or you can private message me. When I say private message me, you can email me. I keep all the details about how to reach me in the show notes portion of YouTube. So you can click on that. There is a link for Buy Me a Coffee if you're interested in that, as well as how to find me on Instagram, which is at blackcoffeeandgrits. You can email me at blackcoffeeandgrits@gmail.com. And if you want to stitch along with me on any project, I would love that. And you can use the hashtag blackcoffeeandgrits, SAL, for that. So I think that's all, friends. Happy stitching. See you next time.